This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 778, The Infernal Source of Lore. Enjoy. Diana, I don't know if we got what your OS update was. Was it just the quest, or?
I mean, I don't really know anything about Old School, say it quietly.
All right.
But, my impression is that the updates they get are slightly more consistent. Like, I know players get to vote on their updates, and I know sometimes player voting has real drawbacks in that what could be good updates gets voted down by a loud minority when it actually could have been very good for the game. But I'm going to be a bit salty for a minute. A lot of the RuneScape 3 updates that have happened in the last 18 months or so, I feel like they've just been chucking things at a wall and trying to make something stick. And it just hasn't felt like our RuneScape until Archaeology. Archaeology has felt like the most RuneScape 3 update in a very, very long time, which is why I like it so much.
Do I dare say since Dungeoneering?
I don't know. I wasn't playing when Dungeoneering came out, so I can't comment.
Nope, you're right. I had that same thought.
But things like, I like the Ark, and things like Anachronia hasn't been developed enough for me to really pass comment on
is
that.
there because it's needed for the lore.
Yeah, and it's going to hopefully inform quite a bit of the future lore, so I'm not going to, comment on that. But
Please don't make me talk about Anachronia.
No.
We're not going to talk about Anachronia, don't worry. But yeah, I wish we had updates that actually felt like part of RuneScape 3 rather than let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. Old School seems to have that slightly better.
It feels kind of like the point, like the thing that we fault Old School the most for, which is it's stuck in the past.
Oh no! Here we go.
Gameplay. No,
it's not what I'm hating on it for.
Let's not go that way.
I know where he's going, and this is why I don't like it. But continue.
Like the thing we faulted for most, which is it's stuck in the past, is that the exact thing that RuneScape 3 is missing. That is why, like, that being stuck in the past means that they get updates that feel like the RuneScape that was around back then.
And you know how awkward that.
I don't mean that I want nostalgia in RuneScape 3.
Of course not. No.
Let's be very clear on that. I don't. If I wanted the old style, I'd play Old School. I don't, because I think the old style's worse than what we've got now.
That are new but feel like RuneScape.
Yes. Yeah, it's basically
like
just
Archaeology.
in keeping with the feeling of the game, which is a very, very hard thing to try and put into words. Like, you can't really define what a game is.
Yeah.
Or what RuneScape is. You can't. It's very hard to boil down.
And it's that same awkward feeling. RuneFest 2018. I don't know where we were going. We were going to go up and see something, right? And we get sidetracked by this Old School talk. It sounded interesting. We sit down for 25 minutes. We don't tell anybody about it for a week and a half. Then we come back to the podcast after and have a huge discussion about it. And it's that same awkward feeling then as now with this discussion right here.
What I hope is that RuneScape 3 is the start of a better period of updates. Hopefully, I know I wasn't particularly a fan of Mod Warden when he first started, looking at his kind of gaming pedigree, but I think possibly his direction and his leadership has meant that, or his approach even, has meant a more considered approach to updates. To make things that actually are in keeping with the vibe, as it were, of RuneScape 3.
And,
Archaeology has very, very much done it.
Right. And to give
and
Mod
I want to
Warden...
end this on a positive note.
Yeah,
in that
absolutely.
Archaeology has absolutely hit the nail on the head.
Right. And we give Mod Warden lots of credit here on the show.
You guys love him.
We do.
Really, really love him.
We do. And he was responsible for the holdback and, putting that extra polish on it, which is good. So, but the skill design of Archaeology... that was all done before he arrived, and it was a Mod Timbo project.
Was it Timbo?
Timbo designed the initial brief for it.
Yeah, Rowley did a lot of the lore.
Yeah.
Which is good because he really knows what he's talking about.
Maybe Mod Timbo needs to design more updates.
It's really funny because I feel this is exactly sort of in line with what I've been feeling and even saying, is that what we've seen for the past quite a few years now is that there's something new. Like, I said this when Mod Warden, I mean, I was skeptical when he joined, but I said this when, like, before, like, as he joined, that what RuneScape is really missing is one direction. I feel that, you know, at least once a year they came out with, okay, our new future plan for the next 5 years is going to be, you know, we got power to the players, we've got expansions, we've got all these big ideas and big visions, and they disappeared again after like 6 months because, you know, they didn't stick or didn't work, and that really harmed the game, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Even stuff like unfinished business, that's now unfinished business.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I think you put it really well. They were just throwing stuff out there and see what stuck, and nothing really stuck. And I think that's to be expected because sometimes it takes a while for things to stick.
Oh, yeah. It can be really hard to try and find a direction.
Two different audiences, though. Don't you have to take that into account?
Yes. Somebody needs to go and sit there in the meeting room and, like, slam their fist on the table and be like, this is how we're going to do it for the next year, and then we'll reevaluate and adjust.
But I also think there was... Go ahead.
Go on. Oh. I think it's a difficulty with something like a live game like RuneScape 3.
Yeah.
Compare that to maybe a one-off AAA release where they've had 7-8 years to hammer out the direction, to nail it down, to make the hundreds of changes that you make whenever you're developing a game. Like, it goes all over the place. And the final product is never what the initial concept was.
And plus, we also need to remember...
With a live game, you have to come out with weekly releases. You have to come out with the monthly content.
Yeah.
You have to give something.
You can watch full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. You can also listen to audio versions of RSBANDB Update at update.rsbnb.com, and feel free to subscribe to our show and any number of podcast listeners out there at update.rsbnb.com/subscribe.